more influence religion has, it seems to me, the more misery it causes. That's all.
The Catholic Church will be very much a remnant, a minority.
People our age who are Catholic, if they go to confession every couple of months and tell the priest their sins, that blows my mind.
Catholic Ireland is very different to what it was before.
And the trees are whispering sounds to one another. I don't want to search in the corner, don't want to search in the road. No, I want to find it where I'm standing alone. And I gotta chill the beans, I gotta chill the potatoes, gotta make a mess and gotta clean it up. Chew to the bone, to the bone, to the bone, chew to the bone, to the bone, and la di da.
Baptised, had a communion, confirmation. Are we Roman Catholic? Even though I don't believe in any of the teachings, and I'd consider myself not religious at all. But am I Roman Catholic?
Yes. Yes. Because you did all of those things.
Yeah, but not out of choice.
Traditionally, Ireland has always had a very close relationship with the Catholic Church. People have relied on this organisation for religious and spiritual fulfilment for hundreds of years. However, within the last decade, the Church has lost much of its credibility due to recent reports highlighting cases of emotional, physical and sexual abuse of children by members of the clergy. This, coupled with a higher educated population and the unwavering stance of the Church to change its medieval views, it has become evident that our attitude towards Catholicism is rapidly changing.
Like if you take a small town like here and anyone that ever questioned anything going back, what were they seen as? Eccentric, the local sort of something wrong with him. Somebody dared to do something different. Different. It's not even just another religion, just you can't be different. I mean, what would your mother say? What did the neighbours say?
Yeah.
It was always the neighbours. But why not yourself and what you felt like?
Because it's easier to be one of the
sheep. It's easier to go along. Yes. We're very narrow-minded. We are as a people we're very narrow-minded. Yeah. But I think now, slowly, I think the worm is turning. Very slowly, mind you. But I think we are. But my husband's very religious. He goes to Mass, reads at Mass, gives out Holy Communion. And we have a great laugh.
At his expense? At
his expense, yes. Are you going to heaven, Bernard? Oh, yes, I'm going to heaven. Like,
do you think?
And the lad say, do you really think that you're going to be flying around up there? And he thinks, well, yes. Thanks, the household is saved by the one person. Even the dog is an atheist. She barks at the church bells. Shouldn't be laughing.
Helen's son Peter has agreed to take part in a social experiment of ours. He's going back to Mass after a 10-year sabbatical.
Why have you agreed to do this? Because a lot of people wouldn't.
I just wanted to go back with a more mature mind. Because the last time I'd been there, I was only yay high, and now I'm yay high. Slightly bigger.
Yeah.
Slightly more mature.
Yeah.
Go back and see is there a bit of a spark that keeps bringing people back to the church.
Yeah. With no prejudices, a totally open mind.
Total open mind.
It's going to be difficult.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
But we'll give it a try.
Yeah, sounds good.
Cool.
Hello, 086-876.
Yeah, that's me. It's Kevin O'Mahony here, Father.
Yes, Kevin.
How are you?
Good.
I'm here with Alan O'Callaghan. Do you remember we were talking to you earlier on about sitting down with us and maybe having a chat?
I know. It's unreal. My life is unreal. I have to leave it again for a while. Kevin.
Okay, yeah, sure. We'll call you again.
He hung up. He hung up. What did you think anyway?
That was one of the worst. Was it an hour?
Was
It
it?
felt like 9 weeks. The worst hour of my life.
57 minutes. That's right.
Christ.
Did you take anything from it?
Yes.
What?
People are crazy.
Well, let's get some tea.
Free tea.
Pick me up slowly, 'cause I wanna
He didn't actually speak honestly. He didn't say, I put this gospel away for a minute.
Yeah, it's like,
And
forget
say,
the gospel, praise Jesus!
Let's just have a bit of a chat about the world and what's going on, but he didn't do that.
No, it's just,
Yeah.
here's a very, very old scripture that I'm going to read,
And
it's going to be relative to your life. How? I've no idea.
That's the end.
That is the end of my holy career, as you could say.
Well, it didn't work for Peter, and it's fairly obvious that Mass is boring. But perhaps another reason for the decline in attendance is the atrocities committed by members of the clergy.
We give one day of prayer each week for the victims. We recognise it and we own it and we face it and we're ashamed, feel shame, and it's terrible that children have been hurt in this way, and it's something they carry all their lives apparently. It's really something that affects them deeply. It's been an awful scandal, really awful, and it's going to take people a long time to trust again and to get over this. So that's a big part, I think, of our lack of numbers now. People saw the hypocrisy. Even though it's only a small percent, it's still a percent. I heard somebody say that, in the penal times, the people suffered so much to be faithful to their religion and Catholicism and hid their priests, and they worked so hard, and so many of them suffered and died. And I don't think we should let it go so easily. And, Christianity, our European culture has been founded and based on the Christian values and principles. And I think we should really try to build on that and not just... I think we have to be responsible and think about our future generations. Do we want our country to be Muslim, or do we want it to be atheistic, or do we want it to be Christian, or, and that how we live today is going to determine that. The church is kind of like a big ship, and when you're trying to turn a big ship, you have to go ever so slowly. So to change things in the church now, it'll take time.
While we found the nuns to be very nice people, it's very difficult to accept their views. Why does the country need a religious label, especially considering the absolute betrayal of trust by the Catholic Church towards us?
We put so much trust into these people, into this organisation, and they were evil about it, What went on in some of the industrial schools and the abuse, the sex scandals and all that, it's completely, it's evil, scarily evil. And this is a organisation. Is this an organisation that's meant to, promote love and love thy neighbour and trust and forgiving? And what they did to poor, innocent children and people is horrible. So I wouldn't blame people, and I don't trust it at all.
It took us a long time, the church a long time, to recognise the criminality of it, Yeah. They saw it as a moral, something moral and sinful, but they didn't see it as criminal. And that's maybe why we were very slow to recognise that people had to be reported at the Gardaí, and it's a criminal offence, and it took us a while to recognise that.
Well, that's just shocking. Am I meant to have a reply for that? That's just... But that just shows how far removed from reality and the rest of the world that they are. That they think to do harm to somebody, terrible harm that lasts the rest of their life, is just a moral choice. And aren't priests meant to be the bastions of moral choice? Aren't they meant to know what is right and what is wrong, and no ambiguity about it? Because they seem, when they're preaching, to have no ambiguity about what's right and what's wrong. It's only when they're acting themselves that there seems to be this huge grey area about what's right and what's wrong.
It's not a healthy, informed individual who has the ability to wear the cloth and at the same time commit the same acts as he is absolving of the general population. That's a contradiction in action. And if you want to know a person, watch what they do as opposed to what they say. And I think we've seen enough of that in action.
I mean, the more educated you are, the more you start to question things, and you don't accept this idea of blind faith, which the Catholic Church promoted for so many years, is how to do it. I mean, blind faith, it's a load of nonsense. Believe in this because we tell you to do it. People aren't stupid anymore. People are educated and they know to question things.
In Mass, it's obvious to see that an ageing population dominates the pews. But there has to be some young parishioners out there. So we've come to speak with James Mahon, the national leader of the largest Catholic youth group in Ireland, about what it means to be a young, practicing Catholic today.
Hello, is this the U2000? Yeah. Hi, it's Alan and Kevin here. Thanks, man.
A lot of young people write off their faith without ever exploring it properly. The main thing is that they come to know the love of Christ for them, you know. And when they come to know the love of Christ for them, their lives are changed for the better because they realise that He has a special, unique plan for their lives. You know, the 10 Commandments, say, for example, are you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do the rest. But when I was in college, when I was younger, up to about the age of 23, I'd broken every commandment there was. And I was miserable. My life was a mess. All I did was hurt myself and people around me. When I came into this faith that I'd always written off, I discovered that really what the 10 Commandments for me were a kind of, it was kind of a template of happiness. I realised that when I tried to actually stay inside these, that actually I had more peace in my life, I had more peace in my heart. And it wasn't that God was saying, you can't do this, you can't do that. But God in His wisdom knew that if we broke all these things, we'd be miserable.
Going to visit our parish priest. And I feel like I'm doing something wrong.
Me too. Me too.
That's the worst thing about it. Okay, let's just do it.
Hi, Father. How are you?
Father.
How are things? We're back.
Up to me eye.
Up to us.
I'm up to me eyes.
Really? You can't fit us in at all, no?
Humanly impossible this evening.
Yeah.
Really?
It's
Okay.
seriously, I would love to, but it's unreal.
Yeah. It's
okay.
I'm no longer time back. I'm going out again.
Okay.
Right.
And try to catch up with work is unreal.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
No, that's okay. We just popped in to see
No.
if you're around.
No, if I had a minute, it would be grand. But
Yeah.
life is like that.
Okay.
Right, well,
that's all right.
That's the way
Okay.
it
Mind
goes.
yourself. Mind
Okay,
yourself.
so do you want to do it at all, or will we?
Look at, I suppose, I put you on too much better call me out.
To go, you're right.
Because I'm just up to my eyes.
Okay.
That's
That's okay.
all.
Okay, thanks,
Thank
Father.
you.
Goodbye. So we can't even talk to a
Nasty,
priest.
nasty.
Everyone will talk to us, not our priest. Don't think about talking to your priest.
Oh God, no. Oh no.
To put a cloth on an individual and to put a lock on a door and to preach to people from on high as if they are absolved of humanness and don't understand what that means, you can't. Who's going to believe you?
Did you baptize your children into the Catholic faith?
I did baptize my children. Actually, I baptized my children into the Catholic faith.
Even though you just said there's evil things that the Catholic do to put them into an organisation.
Yeah, so
like that,
so
is
in
it
my
hypocritical?
early years, not being a political minded individual, I symbolically did it, because I had no other alternative, and also because
Was
of
the alternative just not to get them baptized at all?
well, the alternative would be to baptize them yourself. You know.
Well, there are so many people out there who say they don't believe in God, they're firmly against organised religion, yet it's so ingrained in them that they still feel the need to get their child baptised. I think a lot of people are very confused. Okay, so you don't believe in God?
No, but I do believe in something.
Okay. You said that you would baptize your child into the Catholic faith.
Yes, I did say that.
You're 100% right. I'm sitting here telling you God doesn't exist, but I'm still going to put my kid into a baptism of a place that worships someone that doesn't exist. It's insane. I know it's insane, but I'm still going to do it. I'm not saying I definitely do it, but 60% of me says I'm going to do it. It might not happen. Likelihood it probably won't happen. Right now I'm saying it will happen. That's the brainwash. That's the Catholic Church. They've got you. They've got me. They may not have got you as good as they got me, but they've got me. I'm wearing a cross. You're not wearing a cross. They've got me. They've got me sucked into it. I'm not totally attending mass every week, but I'm still there. They've got what they wanted. They've got another kid going through the system. Another kid that puts the money into it.
I think you want to be in the system.
I think you do want to be in the system. There's no reason why you'd be wearing a cross.
Subconsciously, I probably do, yeah.
If your child's getting his Holy Communion, you're going to have to be there.
A lot.
No, just
Yeah.
for that one day.
No, they want the parents involved.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, it's a big thing. It's a big deal. It's a whole load more than you would think.
But I don't know. I don't think.
I find it hard to accept that they believe these things, that they pray to God and they believe God's there and that their relatives are looking down. It's nice. It's a nice thought. I'm not saying it's wrong, right? It's just, I suppose I'm quite a logical person. And they're believing in, but I believe to be lies, and false truths. And I think that's dangerous. I think people who believe in something that's not true or false, I think that's a dangerous thing. Fundamentalism is based on that. These people believe in things that aren't there, and they do stupid things because of it. And even if it's a small thing, even if you believe in God, it can grow and it can become dangerous,
Each person gets their own census form. It's not about what your family is. The question is, what religion are you? Are you. And you put down Roman Catholic.
I did.
And are you
And
you're not a practicing
I'm not
Roman
a
Catholic.
Catholic.
So that's
I'm
disturbing the census figures
Yeah.
that the nation gets.
Mhm.
So when the media comes out with 90% of Irish are
I think
still
it's 86%.
86%.
84, something like that.
So when the Irish Times came out with that, you contributed to that when that's
Yeah.
not a true representation.
It was a lie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you fucked it up, didn't you?
Have you anything good to say about the Catholic Church in a little segment?
Anything good?
Yeah. Although we couldn't talk to our local Catholic parish priest, the Dean of the Church of Ireland here in Lismore was more than happy to give his thoughts on the matter.
There are various things that churches get quite hung up about theologically. The Church of Ireland wouldn't be a huge thing about ecclesiology being the church. In a sense, there's a certain degree of hopefully humility about just being a church. Somebody used an image once, which I think is a brilliant image of a fried egg, which is that, you've got your core, which is your yolk at the centre, as a very clearly defined centre. That's your worshipping community of faith, be it Catholic, Church of Ireland, whatever. But with the fried egg, what you can't predict is the edges. The edges are unpredictable. They go all over the place. And that's kind of a model for church today, that yes, you have your definable centre, but you must keep your edges fluid and flexible so that people can pass in and out the way they need to. Not sort of, this is the only way you can do church. Come in or don't. It's saying you can come in whatever angle you need to and find your own space. You may find the centre a place that works for you. You may stay out on the fringe if that's necessary. But I think that's where we've moved to. And all churches do that in their own way, I think, or try to. A philosopher called Samuel Taylor Coleridge said, always be suspicious of any institution that depends on the passivity of the mind. And I think that the days of the passive mind in the pew are passing.
A working light's no good. It needs to explode.
Speaking with Dean Draper, it was very refreshing to see a church with a more contemporary outlook. However, there are religions active in Ireland today which promote extreme teachings. We found a former Jehovah's Witness who was willing to speak about his past experiences.
You're encouraged not to go for further education. The witnesses take a very... They have a quite a literal interpretation of the Bible, and would have their own... They would have their own interpretation of when the end of the world is going to come. And the end of the world, all through my life, has been like only a couple of years away. Yeah. So kind of like, what's the point in getting a college education if the world's going to come to an end? And, you know, that actually has very, very strange other effects on people. Like, I never really took much good care of my teeth because I thought I was going to have a perfect set in a few years' time. Like, some of those things are a bit, they seem really strange, but yeah, when you're in it, it doesn't seem that weird.
You have very good teeth now.
Yeah, I'm quite lucky. I've had a lot of work done.
Speaking with Matthew, it's great to see that with a dose of rational thinking, or any thinking, the chains of religious indoctrination can be broken.
Personally, I'm a lost cause for the Catholic Church now, because I'm never going to see myself going back there. But they could. I mean, they've got, if they kind of rejuvenated the whole and made it modern, you know. I mean, women priests would bring back some more people. If they accepted people, homosexuality and all these things, accepted that as being normal and natural rather than evil, then people would go, okay. You know, and if they lose some of this symbolic rubbish that they have, it kind of got real.
They're prohibiting 50% of the population from taking part in, but it's all right for you to go as a worshipper and everything else, but don't want a job. Don't ask us for a job. 50% of the people.
Well, they can become nuns.
Yeah, well, that's only sort of glorified helper, bride of Christ. Sorry, probably they couldn't get a man anywhere else. God, that's a terrible thing to say.
In one sense, this is really true, I think, that all baptised Christians are entitled to the sacraments and to Mass. So when we baptise people and we evangelise, and they have a right to be nourished, to have their faith nourished by the Eucharist. And it seems to me that if there are not enough male celibate men priests, then we should look at other options. I think there are many priests who left to get married and who now would love to participate in the liturgy and be ministers. Surely there's some way of involving them. Women, certainly, why not?
If the church suddenly allowed women to be ordained, that I mean, what about papal infallibility? I mean, they're saying that all along their doctrine has been wrong, and suddenly they've changed their tune. To me, it'd just be a marketing ploy and another nail in their coffin, as far as I'm concerned.
From the people we've spoken to during the course of this documentary, it would seem that the future for the Catholic Church is not a bright one. With an increase in education levels and the declining numbers of ordained priests, does the Catholic Church even have a role to play in our society?
People I know from college and from friends at home, I think everyone is either an atheist or it's just cautiously agnostic, but I don't really believe in God per se. And I don't know if people pray or not anymore. I know I don't pray. I know the last time I prayed, when I was in second class, I didn't have any homework done. I knew I was going to get in trouble. So I got, please God, make something happen that I don't have to go to school today. I ended up getting in trouble that day. I just shouted at extra work.
It's a very selfish prayer, because I know they say everyone in the world should pray for the person next to them.
I prayed for myself so I won't get in trouble. That's why I'm a lost cause to the Catholic Church.
We can put all of our superstitions into this organisation, the church. We can hang on to it, and it'll make us feel warm inside because we know that we're going to a beautiful place called heaven at the end of it all. We're being sold a crock of shit because we want to believe it.
Well, it's definitely not natural. It can't be good. And so you've got to say a certain percentage of people who are drawn to the priesthood are people who maybe want the priesthood to mask who they really are, because then they're not obliged to have wives, or it's not strange if they don't have a wife and have children. It's normal for them to be isolated from the community. So maybe that's created a hiding place for people that are just mentally fucked.
You can give yourself great self-worth just by taking care of other people. That's all you need, and that's what religion's meant to be all about anyway. You don't need all this other stuff. Just do what instinctually you're driven to do. Help out other people.
Show the devil the door and lock him out. Run circles round your room, lose the doubt. Perform open heart surgery on your mother. Throw it to the birds, but it ain't other.
It's often said that religion brings with it a strong sense of community spirit. But at this local event, with not a priest in sight, you can see that that's clearly not true.
Oh, and Madam Melancholy has just swallowed Mr. Jolly. Now she's gaining ground out on your trail.
If you're committed and your ashes become, somewhere that you liked in the world, and you become part of that place then,
You selfish bastard. Give your body to science.
Oh yeah, well that. Oh yeah, of course. I mean, ask me the question again.
No way! No,
I thought
it stays.
I thought you were talking about spiritual.
We're not going to twist your words now.
No.
That's the whole thing I'm trying to say to you.
Yeah,
it's
insane. I know.
Why are you going to get your child baptized if you can't think off the top of your head? The one good thing I can think of, helping the homeless or something, helping inner city communities. There, bam, I got one. It took you fucking 30 seconds to not think of anything, and yet you're going to get your child baptized. I wouldn't dream of it.
It's insanity.
I think the Catholic Church will always exist in some form in Ireland. There are people that are going to hang on to it, but hopefully it'll become more and more of a cult, kind of like Satanism or something like that. And they'll just meet once a month in woods and dance around a bit, and that'll be it.
Whoa.